This meeting is now being recorded.
Thank you for reviewing my capstone project. The title of my project was Perception of Engagement in the Hospital Setting Following the Implementation of an Innovative Professional Practice Framework with Human Caring Theory as a Core Principle. The committee members who brought me to this point in my journey were Dr. Tona Leiker, who is my committee chair, Dr. Kara Wallace, and Dr. Mary Lou Gerke. Because of the current issues facing the profession of nursing, empowerment is an important factor in the profession. Some of the factors affecting our profession include the impending nursing shortage, retention, recruitment, and a large cohort about to retire. Additionally, only 18% of nurses report active engagement in their work. The Institute of Medicine is calling for change. And our current generation, as current guardians of the profession, must leave a legacy of empowerment and create an environment to attract new nurses. Problems facing the profession include complex changes in healthcare, consumer demands for safety, and generational differences that demand innovative programs. Clinical ladders may not be moving nursing practice into the future. Nurses must be empowered to make decisions about their practice, and the perception of empowerment is an important consideration related to an innovative professional practice framework. A professional practice framework was created then to offer solutions at the researchers' organization, and a qualitative descriptive study using focus groups was used to gain insights, impressions, and perceptions of empowerment while working within this innovative professional practice framework. The background of the research study included such things as nursing shortage. Our nurses need new frameworks to entice them. Job openings are expected to grow to over 1 million by the year 2020, and a new culture of engagement is needed to encourage and develop new graduate registered nurses. It's been over 20 years since the inception of clinical ladder concepts. These roles and challenges are requiring a new culture of engagement. Clinical ladders may not offer the innovation or the flexibility needed to respond to nursing challenges with agility. As well, there have never been so many generations in nursing, and new graduate RNs are our largest single source available for hire. And this group of the millennials, the impressions of those millennials are generally unknown. The researchers' organization, in response to the challenges being faced in the profession of nursing, chose to develop a professional practice framework and abandon the clinical ladder model. Characteristics of empowerment, along with a vision for nursing, were important considerations in the creation of the framework. Concepts embedded in the framework include a philosophy of clinical care and accountability, performance-based recognition, empowerment in decision-making. The framework then became the basis for the research question regarding the perception of empowerment. The organizational vision led the framework. This vision states, "We are inspired by the patient's story, and we're known for our passion, dedication, knowledge, engagement, and joy in our profession." Caritas was chosen to be at the center of the framework, with a belief that caring is nursing and connects the nurse to the patient and the organization. This emblem illustrates the professional practice framework. Caritas is at the core of the framework, and the outer values of the organization encompass the components of the framework: patient and family-centered care, a culture of caring and safety, a healing environment, and nursing skill and knowledge encompass then the structural components of the framework, which are practice and pathways, nursing structure, reflective practice, innovation, and professional enhancement. The purpose of the study was to determine the perceptions of registered nurses in the hospital setting regarding empowerment. It was of interest to understand what feelings of empowerment are identified after working within the framework for at least 6 months, And the leaders at the researchers' organization believe that the unique partnership of Caritas, structural, and psychological empowerment theories will create a framework for the future. Literature suggests that higher levels of empowerment are related to autonomy and control over nursing practice. This creative framework may lead the way for movement toward different options than clinical ladders and even in magnet status. The study is considered significant due to the fact that the nursing profession is facing challenges based on generational differences, potential nursing shortages, and complexity of care. Empowerment has been seen as a cornerstone in healthcare promotion, practice, and philosophy. Empowerment of registered nurses is proposed as essential to quality patient care and retention and allows RNs to accomplish work with meaning. The connection between Caritas and structural empowerment may illustrate new opportunities for work to be prompted by Caritas principles instead of rules. The framework is self-directed and encourages nurses to stay at the bedside, and it offers flexibility. The research question was, what is the perception of empowerment in the hospital setting following the implementation of an innovative professional practice framework with human caring theory as a core principle? Both Cantor's and Spritzer's empowerment theory supported the core concepts of the professional practice framework. Cantor's structural empowerment includes access to information, support, resources, and opportunities to learn and grow. It encourages autonomy and asks that nurses are involved in planning, decision-making, change, and innovation. Psychological empowerment is a motivational construct that enhances personal efficacy. It shows congruence between a nurse's beliefs, values, and the job requirements. Role mastery and the skillful accomplishment of tasks are also a part of psychological empowerment. This is a visual illustration of structural empowerment, again, illustrating opportunity, information, support, and the resources available to the registered nurse. And this visual illustrates the components of psychological empowerment: meaning, competence, autonomy, and impact. Literature review provides the basis for research and the context for interpretation of the findings of the study. In reviewing generational diversity, it was found to be a challenge for many nurse leaders that staff don't share the same work ethic or expectations. Again, new graduate RNs are the single largest source of recruits, and it's often reported that millennials are wary, they don't respect authority, they don't identify with institutions. They're seen as a very exciting and dangerous generation. And little research has been found concerning leading all four generations in the workplace. Because of this, nurse leaders play a pivotal role in creating a work environment that values generational differences, supports needs of individuals, and seeks commonalities and capitalizes on them. The nursing shortage is predicted to be an important issue for the present and the future, and retention of nurses is related to attaining professional growth and development. As previously stated, clinical ladders are prevalent, yet may not lead to ability to lead, grow, and excel at the bedside. And clinical ladders may not encourage nurses to engage in higher levels of education or professional preparedness. Watson's theory of human caring is a timeless model of caring and heart-centered, compassionate service. It's built on intentional presence and a caring connection, and is seen as the essence of nursing. Caring is no longer pushed to the margins of care, but it is the core of care. Empowerment is a valuable attribute essential to effective functioning of a nursing practice environment. Methodology of this capstone included a qualitative research method, a circular approach to continually examining and interpreting data. A descriptive, qualitative study was undertaken to discover the perception of empowerment. The design of the project used a descriptive basic method in qualitative research. Content analysis of the data was conducted, and analysis of themes and patterns that emerged was carried out. This research located the researcher in the natural setting to interpret the phenomenon in terms of meaning. In this case, the researcher was the instrument. The design provided a picture of the issue of empowerment in words, not numbers. Identified limitations of the study included the infancy of the new framework within the organizational, the fact that not all components of the framework were fully implemented or understood. There was a lack of expertise and experience of the staff nurses working within the framework. There were competing priorities for staff attention during the time of implementation of the professional practice framework, and the researcher is a novice. Focus groups were used as the instrument. 3 groups of 7 to 9 registered nurses from medical, surgical, and critical care were part of the focus groups. Each group was age-specific. 1 group millennial, 1 group baby boomers, and 1 group of mixed ages. They were naturally occurring or voluntary. Themes were built on findings, and the focus groups were both audio and videotaped. In the data collection method, focus groups offered a rapid and cost-effective way of gathering the data. These focus groups provided insight into how people think and provided a deep understanding of the phenomenon. A series of open-ended questions were used related to caring, structural, and psychological empowerment. Rapport was created to rapidly develop positive relationships during the interviewing. Data was collected through interviews in these 3 focus groups, which were audio and videotaped, and there were 23 total RN participants. The interview questions were: tell me about your sense of support through resources and information since working within the professional practice framework. Tell me about your perceptions and feelings of motivation since working within the professional practice framework. And tell me about the professional practice framework's impact on your ability to preserve your caring practice at the bedside. A framework analysis process was used in data analysis. Immersion in the data transcripts as the researcher became familiar with the data allowed themes to emerge. Coding revealed relevant data important to the study question, and identification of thematic frameworks occurred at focus group levels and across the focus groups. Ethical considerations included the voluntary nature of the project, the consent process, a clear purpose shared with focus groups, no information being shared related to identity, and the ability of the facilitator to avoid judgment or influence of participants. Data was managed as interview data was recorded on audio and videotape with the permission of the participants. A verbatim account was written of everything that was said. Confidentiality was maintained and data will be saved for 5 years. Themes emerged in each group related to structural empowerment, psychological empowerment, and caritas, and themes emerged across all groups in structural, psychological empowerment, and caritas. Analysis of the data in qualitative research began with a thorough and thoughtful approach. Analysis of data is a way of thinking and working in order to develop interpretations that contribute to answering the research question. The researcher must be ready for this insight. Central to analysis is a series of concepts related to the issue raised as a theme or a strongly held belief. Framework analysis was used to analyze the data. This is a systematic and visible state to the process. There are 5 key stages: becoming familiar with the data, thematic framework, indexing, charting, mapping, and interpretation. Throughout this framework analysis process, the researcher thinks, reflects, and analyzes. Quality was supported through credibility. The researcher was known to the participants. The researcher encouraged participants to be honest and frank, and debriefings were held with a peer advisor on a regular, frequent basis. Reflective commentary was conducted through a journal and recording after each focus group. Results emerged as themes were identified and emerged at the level of each focus group, and as well, themes emerged that crossed all focus groups and were held in common. This is an illustration of themes at the focus group level. For example, millennials related to structural empowerment revealed a theme of "it will be okay." Their comments reflected feeling safe and supported through resources and information. The mixed age group, Group 2, for example, the psychological empowerment theme said, "Hold me to my highest practice." So this group of mixed ages of millennials and baby boomers really had high expectations for competence in how they were motivated to be empowered in their practice. Some of the quotations that support these themes were, again, that millennials said, "It will be okay." They felt support and that resources were available for structural empowerment. And two of the quotations were, "You feel like you have someone to bank on. They'll go out of their way to support you." And "I felt trust in her. This empowers you. Everyone is encouraging you." Additional supports of quotations. "I live caring." The baby boomers' theme was "I live caring" in Caritas. Some examples of their stories. One was a nurse who said, "A family did not want to hold their dead baby. It's a privilege, a very hard thing to do. So I am thankful I can be there and be present with that baby." Caring brings us back to who we are. And we can make it or break it. It could be the worst day of their life. Themes across focus groups emerged, so independent of millennial, baby boomer, mixed ages. And these were themes, again, that were held by all nurses. For example, structural empowerment. The themes were professional growth fed by support, being able to give to each other, and having full trust. Caritas. The themes, regardless of age, were, "It is who we are." So caring is who we are, and it's what is good for the patient. So themes across focus groups in support of quotations, for instance, psychological empowerment. "My motivation has been my patients. It's about professional enhancement and the person striving for that." And Caritas' comment and quote was, "You look at a bad nurse and you think, do they even care anymore?" This is again a depiction of psychological empowerment and themes both at a focus group level and across all focus groups. This is a depiction of the theory of structural empowerment, and again, themes at focus group levels and across all three focus groups. And again, a depiction of focus group levels and then themes across focus groups, both related to structural empowerment, psychological empowerment, and then Caritas themes. The meaning of results related to structural empowerment were that all focus groups indicated different aspects of access to support and resources. The millennials focused on their preceptor. The baby boomers, though, focused on broad levels of support, indicating things such as the Institute of Medicine report and larger resources as a support for their practice. And autonomy was relevant to the mixed age group, especially their perceptions of feeling competent and confident in their practice. Psychological empowerment centered around care of the patient, so motivational aspects centered around care of the patient. Role mastery was significant to all at different levels, and confidence and ability was especially called out by the mixed age group. Caritas is a timeless model and as the essence of nursing was supported by themes across all groups of "It is who we are." Regardless of age, "It is who we are" was that quotation and that theme that came through on a timeless model of caring. And Caritas is the essence of nursing was supported by themes at focus group levels, like the baby boomers who said, "I live caring." Caring and compassion were part of Nightingale's unifying process, and the meaning of these results certainly asked nurses to step into the heart of their practice. Considering the meaning of the results for nurse leaders may help nurse leaders focus on the commonalities among generations versus the differences, allows us to focus on the strengths shared among generations to strengthen practice and learn from each other. Instructional empowerment differed among generations and may lead to changes in orientation and ongoing opportunities. For the profession of nursing, the caring themes differed among generations and could direct developmental education. Education related to critical thinking and building of caring practices could occur for millennials. And psychological empowerment could engage millennials in moving toward motivational components beyond their me focus. Further significance to the profession of nursing: because of multiple demands, nurse leaders may create environments where caring practice is core, really stepping into the heart of their practice. Using themes shared across generations could propel orientation and education on those commonalities. The culture of care in hospitals can change. And again, themes across the focus groups could enhance development of the millennial generation. Recommendations for further work and future work at the organization include the addition of servant leadership to the professional framework. Caritas is a course supporting the need for the sense of purpose and meaning in work. Balancing caring theory with structural and psychological empowerment components. And curriculum development for enhancing connection between caring and empowerment in our nurse residency program. Further research could incorporate Benner's novice role related to the millennial generation in their preparation for practice. Further work on strengthening the caring practices with the millennial generation, and continued research on a focus of commonalities between the generations. In summary, nursing is experiencing impressive, rapid, and radical changes. Work empowerment is key to the organizational efforts to retain nurses and to mitigate the future nursing shortages. Continuing professional development is vital to develop and retain new staff. And perceptions may be the impetus for further study on generational perceptions and Caritas as a driving force of practice. Qualitative study with nurses telling their story assisted in gaining new insight and understanding of the framework's impact. Themes at both a focus group level and across generations may indicate more similarities than differences, and reflective practice may be enhanced through the understanding of theming. Thank you for reviewing my capstone project.